can go and pay at the cashier.
Thank you.
Amina? Has anyone seen my daughter? Have you seen a little girl? She's only 4.
I know Kareem took her. He was acting real fucking weird yesterday.
What? What is it?
There isn't a federal law that prevents a parent from taking their child.
Can I help you with something?
No, but I might be able to help you. I'm in the child recovery business.
In 1993, a woman's 6-year-old daughter was snuck out of the country by her ex-husband. After years of unsuccessful attempts to find her, she intersects with a professional retriever of internationally abducted children who promises to help her find her daughter in exchange for her collaboration. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on the next thrilling recap. Your support keeps this channel alive. Maureen was woken up by her daughter, Amina. She greeted her father, but soon heard Kareem, her ex-husband, honking his car outside. She was surprised because she thought he would be coming the next day. Her father, Joe, explained that Amina needed a father's love and she could not deprive her of that care. Maureen then let Amina go with Kareem so they could spend some time together. He promised to bring her back by 6 in the evening. That evening, Amina gave her a picture she took with her father. Maureen smiled and placed it beside her bed. Later that night, she stayed up sewing a costume for Amina. The next day, Maureen and Amina went to buy medicine for her father, but the clerk told them that the price had increased. Maureen argued with her and asked him to recheck the price. Meanwhile, Amina had wandered to a nearby store filled with teddy bears and dinosaur toys. When the clerk finally confirmed his mistake and corrected the price, Maureen turned around but could not find Amina. She searched around the shop, asked people nearby, and even ran outside, but her daughter was nowhere to be found. Her voice broke as she cried and called out for Amina to come back. Maureen and Joe later went to the police station to report the incident, but the police had no leads. Maureen told them she believed Kareem might have taken Amina because he wanted custody during their divorce, but failed to get it. The police explained that there was no law preventing a father from taking his own child, which made Maureen even more upset. The police went to check Kareem's house, but only found Amina's costume. The rest of their belongings were gone. Maureen began calling everyone she could, hoping someone would know where Kareem was, but no one had any information. Each day, she trained herself, holding Amina's teddy bear and thinking of her daughter. Eventually, Maureen said goodbye to her father and left for Washington, D.C., where Kareem used to live. She walked the streets handing out flyers with Amina's picture, hoping someone would recognize her. It had already been 32 months since her daughter went missing. She even went to a law firm to seek justice, but her case was rejected. Determined, Maureen formed a small group to protest against parental abductions. During one of her campaigns, a man named Robeson noticed her. He approached and introduced himself, telling her that he could help. Robeson worked in the child recovery business, though his operations were not legal. He wanted Maureen to work for him, saying that she could help find missing children for other parents, and in return, he would help her find Amina. He also mentioned that the job paid well. Robeson later introduced Carl, his partner, to Maureen. He told her they needed a mother on their team, someone strong like her, to make the group complete. She agreed to join them and received her first assignment. Their client was a woman named Maya, whose ex-husband had abused her and taken their child, JD. Maureen went in to speak with Maya. The woman opened up to her and broke down in tears, but Maureen comforted her and listened carefully to her story. With the new information about Maureen's case, the team traveled to Mexico. They watched as JD's father dropped him off at school. When the teacher led JD inside, his father went to sit outside the gate. The team moved through the back entrance, but when they reached the classroom, they found it locked, meaning classes had been canceled. As they stepped out, they spotted JD and his father nearby. Carl distracted JD by playing with a dog and used it to lure him closer. When JD came near, Carl signaled Robeson and Maureen, who were hiding behind a car. Robeson quickly grabbed JD and covered his mouth. He handed the boy to Maureen, but JD began screaming. Maureen felt uneasy about it. A fight broke out between Carl and JD's father, with Robeson joining in to help. Maureen pulled JD to the side and tried to calm him down, telling him she was taking him to meet his mother. JD's father and his men began chasing after them. Robeson called out for them to follow him, and Carl drove up quickly. They all jumped into the car and sped away. They waited in a hotel, where Maureen took care of JD while they waited for Maya to arrive. When Maya came, she paid the team before leaving with her son. After that, the team took on more recovery cases, each one successful. Later, Robeson brought in a new case. but the information was limited. Still, they decided to take it. The mission led them to another school. As they entered the classroom, they were met with armed bodyguards. A fight broke out. Maureen grabbed the child and ran, but the teacher struck her to the ground. Robeson and Carl fought off the men while Maureen tried to protect the child, but someone pulled the child from her. They were soon surrounded and forced to run outside, where more guards waited. Gunfire broke out again. Maureen managed to grab a weapon, but was pushed to the ground. She fought back, pressing the gun to the attacker's neck. Robeson rushed in and grabbed her hand, stopping her before she could pull the trigger. They fled the scene when they heard police sirens approaching. After escaping, Carl and Robeson got into a heated argument. Carl was furious that Robeson hadn't told them the job came from the CIA. Robeson tried to calm him, saying the details were classified and that all they needed to care about was getting paid. Carl punched him in anger, and Maureen stepped in to stop the fight. She told Robeson that they were supposed to be partners, yet he had dragged them into a government operation without warning. She warned that the CIA would leave them behind to deal with the consequences. That night, Maureen called her father to check on him. He expressed concern that her new job was distracting her from finding Amina, but she insisted that it wasn't. She later returned home to quietly mark her daughter's 10th birthday, lighting a candle in her memory. Meanwhile, Robeson received a call from a man named Lewis and went to meet him. Lewis reminded him of a past case involving Peter's father, a man desperate to get his child back. He told Robeson that while he didn't interfere with his private missions, this case needed priority. During their talk, Lewis asked about Maureen and warned that Kareem was a dangerous man. He said she was better off without him. At the same time, Maureen called a hospital to ask if Kareem worked there. She was told that he hadn't come to work that day. The news gave her a strange sense of hope, and she immediately shared it with her father. Maureen went to meet Robeson and told him she had finally found Kareem, saying he was in Lebanon. But Robeson disagreed. He warned that Lebanon wasn't stable and was heavily guarded. Maureen grew frustrated, saying it had been 8 long years since she last saw her daughter, and she couldn't wait any longer. Carl stepped out to join the argument, scolding Robeson for holding back. He reminded him that he had promised Maureen he would help find her child, which was the reason she joined them in the first place. After much convincing, Robeson finally agreed to the plan. Soon after, Maureen received a call that her father was gravely ill. She rushed home to be with him. They shared a few quiet words before he decided to take a rest. Not long after, the team departed for Lebanon. Robeson took them to stay with his friend, who introduced herself as Nora. Nora assured Maureen that she would help her find her ex-husband. That night, Maureen stood alone on the balcony. The next day, Maureen waited in the car while Nora went to gather information. When Nora returned, she told Maureen that Kareem no longer worked at the hospital, that his contract had been temporary. The news made Maureen angry, but Nora tried to comfort her. Later that night, Maureen dressed in a dinner gown she had sewn herself. Before she left, Robeson handed her a gun. Maureen then attended the party, where she met Salima's mother, her target for the mission. She greeted her politely and blended into the event. Afterward, she slipped upstairs, but nearly got caught and hid behind a wall until the guard left. Inside one of the rooms, she found Salima. She quietly told the girl that she was there to take her to her father. Meanwhile, Carl and Robeson waited behind the building, ready for the extraction. Maureen led Salima toward the kitchen, planning to exit through the back, but they were suddenly stopped by Salima's mother. Salima's mother called out to her daughter, but the girl hid behind Maureen. A bodyguard appeared and aimed his weapon at Maureen. In the confusion, Salima startled her, and Maureen accidentally pulled the trigger, shooting both the guard and Salima's mother. Shocked, she grabbed the child and ran to the car. They sped away as guards fired after them. At the hotel, Maureen cleaned up Salima, preparing her to reunite with her father. When he arrived, he paid Robeson and took his daughter away. Later, Maureen stood under the shower, trembling with fear and guilt. Robeson came to her and told her it had been an accident, urging her to calm down. He told them all to stay inside the room while he found a way to get them out of Lebanon. But on his way out, he was ambushed and surrounded by Lewis's men. On the other hand, a knock sounded on the door. Maureen grabbed her gun. Carl went to check and found Nora. She said she had a lead on Amina. Maureen wanted to go at once, but Carl reminded her of what Robeson had said. She insisted they must act. They met a woman who claimed to know Amina. She said her daughter attended the same school as Amina and gave them the school address. Meanwhile, Lewis threatened Robeson, warning that if he did not get Maureen out of Lebanon, they and Maureen's family would be in danger. Robeson learned that Kareem worked for the CIA and that Lewis had been paying him to distract Maureen from finding Amina. Carl and Maureen went to the school. They saw Kareem pick up Amina. As Kareem prepared to leave, Amina moved to step out, but Carl stopped her, saying they needed a plan. They followed them into the market. Overcome, Maureen hit Carl in the face and chased after Kareem and Amina. When Amina went to get something for herself, she grabbed her and put her in the car. Kareem noticed Amina's absence and went in search of her, but before he could notice, Carl drove off. They went to Nora's house, but Nora did not want them to enter. Carl persuaded her, and she let them in. Inside, Nora interpreted for Maureen. She told Amina she loved her and that she was her mother. But after all the explanation, Amina said she had no mother and that her mother was dead. Robeson arrived and was surprised. He said they could not stay, and they left Nora's house. They checked into a hotel. Maureen went to Amina's room and showed her a picture of them together when Amina was 4 and other photos of her and her grandfather. Maureen told Amina that her grandfather was dead. Moments later, Robeson arrived, and he scolded Maureen for acting without a plan. Maureen said she had seen an opportunity and could not wait after losing Amina for so long. Robeson warned that they could not leave unless they returned Amina to Kareem. Robeson told her that Kareem was involved with dangerous people. He revealed that Kareem had been blackmailed into laundering money for a group. The CIA discovered his involvement, and in exchange for his freedom, Kareem began working as an informant. As part of the deal, Kareem would keep Amina. Maureen was angry because she now realized that her job had been a distraction to stop her from finding her daughter. She said she would not give Amina back and told Robeson that he could either help her or let her go. They left the hotel and stopped to get documents to cross the border. While waiting, Maureen spent time with Amina and they played together. When they were about to cross, the police stopped them to check their papers. One officer looked at them and said an American wanted to see them. Carl went down to talk to the officer. Maureen told Robeson to turn the car, but he refused, and this made her move out of the vehicle with Amina. Robeson tried to stop her, but in the process, the police saw them. Carl immediately fought to hold them off, while Maureen and Amina escaped to a bus. Carl was subdued, and Robeson turned the car around and drove away. On the bus, Amina said she wanted to go home to be with her father and grandfather, that she did not want to go to America. Maureen told her she had been looking for her for so long, but Amina said she was never lost and that she never asked to be found. This left Maureen broken for a while, and a moment later, after leaving the bus, she called Robeson and Kareem. Kareem asked to see, but she pointed her gun at him and said Amina was safe with a friend. Kareem explained that if he had stayed, their lives would have been in danger, and that Amina had been protected by a powerful organization as long as he cooperated. He said he wanted to give Amina a better life. Maureen told him he had made Amina believe she was dead. She made him promise that Amina would be safe with him and that he would tell her the truth about what had happened and how her mother had been looking for her. Maureen went to Robeson and took Amina. She gave her a necklace and took her to Kareem. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss more thrilling stories like this.